G'day kids and mums and dads, Aaron here from Charlie Boots. Thanks for tuning in to another one of our online instructional videos. These videos are at the heart of what we do here at Charlie Boots. We're all about kids having fun, getting creative and learning new skills. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't watched any of our videos before, a couple of quick points on safety and setting up a good workspace. Number one, make sure you've got mum and dad's permission to do your craft. So check with them where you're going to do it, kitchen table, on your desk, garage, wherever it is, check with mum and dad. And also make sure you put any rubbish and pieces of plastic in the bin. We don't want them to be choking hazards for our younger brothers and sisters or any dogs or pets we have at home. So safety checks first, that's all done. Now what we're going to do today is build Lumiere from Disney's Beauty and the Beast. So let's get started by seeing what's in the box. And you can see here it includes Beauty and the Beast book, an easy to assemble laser cut wood model, step-by-step instructions and colouring and crafting ideas. So you'll see there's some little plastic tabs here holding the back on. You have to remove them like I've done. And what's really cool is a Beauty and the Beast storybook. So it actually tells you the whole story of Beauty and the Beast about the handsome prince who had a spell cast on him, and the beautiful Belle and her father, and the whole story. And then we have a bit of backstory about who Lumiere is, one of the prince's faithful servants, and who was transformed into a candelabra. And then we have at the back here some colouring in instructions, which is what we're going to follow today after we actually build the model, which is pretty exciting. So that's the booklet that comes with it. We also have our instructions, so it's really important before you start building to open the instructions up and take note of all the different steps and reading these instructions here to read before assembly, and that is to go through the instructions one step at a time, really important, and don't take out all of the pre-cut pieces at once. Only take them out as you need them and make note of how the steps go. So you got steps 1 through to 8 here, and then 9 to 24 there, and then the last steps on the back. Pretty simple. And then we have, so that's our instructions, and then we have a couple of cardboard pieces here used to protect the wood frame with all our pieces in there. You'll note that it's wrapped in plastic, so we'll need to take that plastic off and make sure we put that in the bin. And you can see here that there's some laser cut details into the actual pieces. So here we can see Lumiere's face. So we'll use that when we're doing our colouring in later, and we'll keep these pieces of cardboard so that when we start painting our model we can put them down on our desk or our bench or your surface you're working on, so that we don't get any paint on there. But let's open this up and get building. Today we're going to be painting little Lumiere here from our Beauty and the Beast kit, and for that we need our round plastic palette, our Faber-Castell connector pens, or the markers that were included in the kit, our paints, our paintbrush, and some clean water. In this case it's clean water in my coffee cup, thank you very much to my local cafe. So let's get stuck into it. And the first thing we're going to do is get some white paint with a dash of yellow to make a cream to paint the candlesticks. So let's do that. So I'm going to grab some white paint here and put that into my palette. You can see I'm bringing the paint nice and close to the palette, so I'm not going to drip it everywhere, and I'm just putting quite a bit in there, and I'm wiping off the excess. And then when the brush has got all the white paint off, I'm going to give it a clean in there, give it a good mix, clean the brush. And then I'm going to get a dash of yellow, just the smallest bit of yellow here, to mix in with my white to make a cream. And just do it a little bit at a time. I think that one little bit there is going to be more than enough. Make sure it's mixed in. Actually, it might have been a bit too much yellow. I'll put some more white in there, I think. Clean the brush again. You don't need much yellow in there, team. That's looking better. I'll just push that into this here. Maybe just a little bit more white, so I clean my brush again. Yeah, let's see how that looks. So, you can see that there's some laser engraved details on Lumiere's face, so we're going to make sure we don't paint too much on there. And we only paint the candlesticks, which are these round bits, and Lumiere's face. So underneath here, so this circle platform here and underneath is all part of the candlestick holder. We don't paint that, we just paint the candlesticks. So, we get stuck into it. Working our way into all our gaps there. You don't put too much paint on there that it takes too long to dry. So just enough to cover it. If you need to do more than one coat, that's totally fine. And you can see how I'm holding it. I've got the base of Lumiere here and I'm just rotating it as I need to be able to get a good view and access to each part of the timber. Making sure I don't push too hard because you don't want to accidentally break his arms. And the back of it here. I'll do Lumiere's face. You can see that those laser cut details will actually, you'll still be able to see them through the paint, which is good because we'll use that later to add in all the details, you know, the eyebrows, the lines on his forehead and smile and the mouth and everything, so, and his teeth. But for now, we're just putting a thin coat over the top. We're getting in behind here, make sure we do all in there. On top. Now this is a flame, so we won't need to paint the flame because that will be a yellow colour later. So all the way in behind there. Making sure we do the edges here. So because these are laser cut, the laser actually cuts the timber and it scorches it like it was in a little miniature fire. So that's why the edges here are a little bit darker. So make sure you put just that little bit extra paint on there on the edges so that it's well covered. Be careful not to let any paint sit in the laser details because that will take some time to dry, which is okay, but if you want to try and get it done all at once, then don't put too much paint on there. Don't forget his nose, that's super important. Yeah. And the back of his head. This is a nice easy section to get to. Alright, we'll do the other candlestick here. I might just hold underneath it, give myself a bit more support. Have you guys seen the movie Beauty and the Beast? My kids love it. They love all the Disney movies. Actually, you know, they love all kids' movies, to be honest. But They especially love Beauty and the Beast and the story of the handsome prince who had a spell cast upon him and was turned into the hideous beast, but who had a good heart. And it took the beautiful Belle to be able to release the love within the beast. So it's a very good story, and my kids do like it. You know, we all love a good story. We love a good happy story, or a good happy love story. Okay, so we'll use some more of that colour later when the candlesticks have dried, because we'll add just a touch of black, just a little bit, and then do a bit of shading on the outside of Lumiere. So I just wanted to lighten this cream colour up here, so I've just added some white all over it, over the top, whilst the cream is still wet, and it just gave it a bit more white to it. You guys can do the same if you want. If you're happy with the colour, fantastic. You're ready to go to the next step, which is to clean our brush in our water. Swirl, 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 swirl. Wipe off all the extra water. Use a piece of cardboard if you need to get the brush dry. And now we're going to mix up some yellow and just the tiniest dash of brown to do the gold of the candlestick holder of the candelabra. And the gold is, it's all the top here, it's the chin of Lumiere, it's all his arms all the way down, and make sure we don't get our fingers, but we go all the way down to the base here as well. So all this section is gold. So we need quite a bit of yellow. So what I'm going to do is actually add the brown to the yellow and use the yellow straight out of the pot. So small bit of white brown, and I'm going to mix that up. Gold. The gold's not pure yellow, it's a bit dark yellow, but instead of putting black in there, we're just putting that little bit of brown in there. We're going to do a bit more. We'll probably end up using all of that yellow paint, so that's why I'm okay with mixing it right there in the pot. So I'm going to add a bit more brown, so I'm just going to clean my brush so I don't contaminate my brown. A bit more, mix it up. That's looking pretty good. Keep mixing, keep mixing, keep mixing, keep mixing, keep mixing. Perfect. Alright, I like it. That's really what I am going to do now is add just the slightest little touch of black in there. So I clean my brush, wipe it off, and here's my black. And the black needs a bit of a mix, so we'll just mix that up first. Make sure all the colours are mixed together. True black. So just ever so slightly, clean the brush, and then mix it up. Alright, now we're good to go. So, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to hold the base and I'm going to start in the candelabra arms up here and then just work my way down. I'll need to do on top here, but I'm going to wait for the candlestick colour cream to dry first though. And away we go. Getting under there. You really want to do the best job you can when you're doing your craft, or anything for that matter. Take your time, You know, look at all the different details that need to be done, all the different steps. Don't try and rush ahead of your steps. Just take your time. It's really important that you get the right outcome, and the right outcome is to have a great piece of art that you're really proud of, and you want to show your friends and your mum and dad, and they'll be proud of you too, and you'll have a real sense of accomplishment and achievement. That's really important. That's the feeling that we want you guys to have, is a feeling of accomplishment. You've achieved something. So doing some delicate details around Lumiere's chin there. Nice steady hand. Away we go. I haven't done the back yet. I'm just doing all the front first. That's where I'm concentrating on right now, and then I'll move my fingers around. I'll be able to do the back of it. I'm just going to do one side first and then the other side. Having a process and following it. How's it looking? Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, now I'm going to do the back. So getting right under there, under his head. Careful not to get paint where I don't want the paint to go. So what you can do is you can put the paint on thicker on the brush just to get the paint on the model, and then move the paint around like that. So I wipe the paint on in a corner like that, and then I grab that paint and then I push it around on the model. Particularly doing those edges where the laser has cut the timber pieces. Starting to come together. Now I'm going to move my fingers down to the bottom here, and I'm only going to hold on to the outside edge of the base, so that it gives me access all the way down the stem of the candelabra and the shiny details down the bottom. So putting some paint on and then just pushing the paint around like we were doing before. Nice long brush strokes, making sure we don't have any built up areas of where there's too much paint. Now as you get to this section down here, you can put a little bit more paint on and then work it around, just so we get a really good coverage over that base. And you can imagine this is what the delicately decorated base of a very beautiful candlestick holder would have looked like, back in fairy tale times. Lots of beautiful scroll work and detail. Where the goldsmith who would have made this would have had a great pride in his work. He would have put lots of time and effort into making it look beautiful for whoever was to buy it. And often these things were custom built, so to be, the prince himself would commission the gold work, and normally it'd be for an occasion. We have a ball coming up, and I need candlestick holders for my dining table. Make me 5. Probably said it in a bit of a genuine prince voice than what I have. My apologies for not having a voice of a prince. Maybe I do have a voice of a prince and I just don't know it. Feel free to let me know. There we go. You see how I'm working my brush into all the little nooks and crannies there. So basically by the end of the painting, we don't want to see any timber surfaces. Get up here, up in there. Lumiere is looking good. So now I'm just going to do the edge here. Once I've done that edge, I'm going to put him down. Like so. I am liking the way that Lumiere is turning out. Little buddy, little Lumiere, little matey Lumiere. We'll add some more paint on here. Turn him around. Now, this is dry enough up here that we can do this surface. You can see how, take my time, push the paint gently in, because this is the top part of the candlestick holder where there'd actually be they had a little spike that you would stick the wax candle on, and it'd be a gold circle with a spike in the middle, like that. And the spike would keep the candle in its position. It wouldn't fall over, because some of these candles were quite long, quite tall, and you know, if you didn't have some way of securing it, it may fall over, and it may start a fire, and that would not be good at all. So here we go, I'm doing behind here as well. And our last little bit here. Now once this has dried, we're going to add some shading details by adding a little bit of black to our yellow and doing some very thin detail lines on the outside that look like it's got some three-dimensional, you know, circle depth. We'll also, once we've done that, we'll then do some details around the eyes. We'll do a slightly darker cream for his eyelids, and then use a black texture to colour in the eyebrows and those lines I mentioned before. But he is looking fantastic. Let's get a closer look at him. Hello, monsieur, my name is Lumiere. Pleased to meet you. All right. All right, now that our yellow gold section and the cream candlesticks have pretty much dried, maybe just a touch of wet still, that's okay. I'm going to use this cream I mixed up for the candlesticks itself, and I'm going to add some details on top of the base here. And it's about adding a little bit of variation, maybe not quite so much paint on there, a bit less. I'm going to move that around. And I'm not going to do it you know, really strongly. I'm just going to do just a little bit. I don't want to get any brush strokes in there. It's just about adding a bit of gleam, just a little bit of depth and sort of shine to parts of the model. Yeah, like that. That's looking good. I might just take a bit more from there. I'm just going to keep turning him around and keep doing that, just the slightest little bit from my tray here, and I'll put a little bit on there and a little bit on that one and a bit on that one, and I'll just sort of blend it in. I'm not going all the way to the edges. It's just meant to represent a bit of shine. I might even do it, you know, around one side only. You know, just like that. See, like that? Just adding a little bit of shine to it. I could even put just the tiniest little touch of white to it as well. So I clean my brush. There's a little bit of white here on the side of the palette. I might just take a little bit of that. You know, just have this little white sort of streaks through there. Just it's these little details that you can put on there that add add emphasis to the painting of your model. Just get rid of that ridge there. What I don't want is to have ridges of paint build up on it, because you know the actual gold there wouldn't have, you know, a high ridge of paint, or you know the gold would be nice and smooth. It wouldn't have bumps on it, so you don't want to replicate that. So I'm going to use my same yellow here, and I'm going to add some shine to the top of the arms, and then maybe on the underside I'm just going to add a little bit of black to that and add some darker under here. So just the smallest amount. If I feel I got too much on the brush, I can just wipe a little bit off, and that's okay. And I'm just going to very gently add and just sort of blend it in. I don't want it to be too distinct colours. I want them to really sort of blend in there. Yeah, that's looking good. I like that. And I'm going to use that same cream. Just some shine inside here. Wipe it off my brush. I'm just going to blend it in, so I don't want it to be loose. Just creating the illusion of shine. Don't topple over. There you go. You just see on the arms there. And use that same cream again. And same thing here. Just a tiny bit of white over the top of that. Up here. Yes, very nice. And a little bit at the back as well. Some shading here. Just cleans my brush then. Don't forget, if your water is starting to get a bit too murky from cleaning your brush too many times, then by all means you can just tip that out. It's the colours, they're water safe, which means you can tip them, you know, in the garden, water the plants. It's not going to hurt them, and then you can put some clean, fresh water back in there. So what was I up to? That's right. I'm going to blend this. Get a bit of white, make sure my brush is clean. A bit of white back in there. Just making his face a little bit lighter, so that's the focus. Very nice. And I will put some of that cream colour in and around his chin, which the chin is actually the bottom part of the candlestick holder itself, that gold circle with the spike in there. So I'm going to make sure my brush is clean and just ever so slightly get some of that. And hold him nice and still and just work. Look at that. so, and then get the paint off the brush, and then a little bit of white. There's just some highlights in there. Just a little bit. Wipe off the excess if I need to. Yes, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the tops of these ones as well. So, a little bit of cream. Adds a little bit of depth to it. And then just this little slithers of white, which will blend in there. And shiny edge on the outside of the candlestick holder. Very good. Okay, so now last thing I'm going to do with my brush before I move to a black texture, well, there's two last things. So I'm going to do the yellow flames. For that, it's just straight yellow, and it's really quite simple. We just get our brush and make sure there's not too much paint on it, and we just put our brush on where the flame is and just pull up like that. Pretty simple. Get a brush and just pull up. And then same here. And then when that's dry, we'll put a little bit of, we're getting close to dry, we'll put a little bit of white in the center there to replicate the flames. Clean my brush. So I'm going to get a little bit of black, and I'm going to mix it with my cream, just to make it a slightly darker cream for Lumiere's eyelids. So here's how much I'm going to use. Here's my brush, here's the black, you watch. That's it. See that? That's all I need. I'm going to start, then if I need to add more, I will, but it's hard to come back from that if you mix too much in there. So I can add a bit more black. And right there, that's the color I'm looking for. It doesn't need to be really dark, but I just want it to be a darker shade. And I'll just wipe off any excess. Grab some of that. Very delicately use the laser guided areas as a guide. The laser cut areas. See, you know what? I'm going to make that just a touch darker. Yeah, look, there's just enough color difference to notice, but not too much. How does that look? Yes, Lumiere, you are looking great. My fabulous friend, you're nearly done. Almost trying to clean that water. Now, the last thing I'm going to do now, before I put my brush away, is get my white pen and put some white at the base of the fire, the flame here. I'm just going to basically want that. It's very natural. Yeah, like that. Just see the colour variation there. Camera focus for you guys. Camera focus. maybe just a smidge more white. Alright, gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna let that dry, and then we're going to get our texture and then do the details on his face, and we're done. Alright, here it is, last thing to do. We've got our texture, and we're going to colour in the eyebrows and basically all the lines on his face. But you want to do this so carefully, and my recommendation is to actually put Lumiere down, and I'll adjust the camera for you. Put him down so he's nice and flat, and you can rest your hand on the work surface like this. I'm going to make sure you guys get plenty of light so you can see this. I'll zoom in on his face. There we go. And so you just take your time. And I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down. I'll zoom out for you guys, and there's our little buddy Lumiere. Alright team, thanks for watching another one of our instructional videos here in Charlie Boots. I hope you really enjoyed it, and your model looks amazing. We'd love to see all your creations you make at home, so take some pictures, send them through to us either at info@charlieboots.com.au or at Charlie Boots AU on Instagram and Facebook, #CharlieBootsAU. But until then, looking forward to seeing you guys in the next Charlie Boots video.